It all began with a simple idea, one that seemed almost too good to be true in the wild, untamed world of cryptocurrency. In 2019, two young minds, Sam Bankman-Fried and Gary Wang, looked at the chaotic landscape of digital money and saw an opportunity. They envisioned a place where buying and selling crypto wasn't a gamble on the platform itself, but a straightforward transaction. Bankman-Fried, often just called SBF, was the face of the operation, a brilliant, slightly eccentric figure with a mop of curly hair and a penchant for sleeping on a beanbag in the office. He was a graduate of MIT, a former trader on Wall Street, and he spoke the language of both old-world finance and the new digital frontier. Together, they launched FTX, a cryptocurrency exchange. Their pitch was compelling. It was a platform built by traders, for traders. It promised speed, reliability, and a vast array of sophisticated financial products that appealed to both seasoned professionals and curious newcomers. While Gary Wang, the quiet co-founder, worked his magic on the code, SBF worked his magic on the world. He was a master storyteller, weaving a narrative of a new financial era where FTX was not just a company, but a movement. He spoke of effective altruism, a philosophy of making immense fortunes not for personal greed, but for the betterment of humanity. This vision was intoxicating, and people from all walks of life bought into it completely. The company was headquartered in the Bahamas, a sunny paradise that felt a world away from the stuffy regulations of Wall Street. This remote location added to the mystique, painting a picture of a futuristic financial hub operating on its own terms, beyond the reach of slow-moving governments. The office itself was a playground for the young and brilliant, a penthouse where work blurred into life, fueled by ambition and a shared belief that they were building the future of money. FTX wasn't just another crypto exchange, it was a symbol of a paradigm shift, a testament to the idea that a few smart people could reinvent finance from a tropical island. This narrative of innovation and benevolence was incredibly powerful. It drew in billions of dollars from ordinary people and sophisticated venture capitalists alike. They saw SBF not as a reckless gambler, but as a visionary, a prodigy who had figured out the secret to the crypto universe. He appeared on magazine covers, spoke at prestigious conferences, and hobnobbed with celebrities and politicians, all of whom were captivated by his story. FTX became more than a platform. It was a brand synonymous with the promise of crypto itself, a promise of wealth, progress, and a financial system that was open to everyone. It was a beautiful story, and for a time it seemed real. The ascent of FTX was nothing short of meteoric. In just a few years, it transformed from a startup into a behemoth valued at over $32 billion. It wasn't just luck, it was a masterclass in marketing and brand building. SBF understood that in the world of crypto, where everything felt new and uncertain, trust was the most valuable commodity. He poured millions into securing that trust. The company's name was plastered everywhere, from the Miami Heat's basketball arena, renamed the FTX Arena, to the uniforms of Major League Baseball umpires. This wasn't just advertising, it was a strategic campaign to embed FTX into the fabric of mainstream culture, making it feel as safe and reliable as a traditional bank. The pinnacle of this campaign was a star-studded Super Bowl commercial in early 2022. It featured the comedian Larry David humorously dismissing great inventions throughout history, ending with a warning. Don't miss out on the next big thing. The message was clear and potent. FTX was the next big thing, and you would be a fool to ignore it. This ad, broadcast to over 100 million viewers, solidified FTX's image as a dominant, trustworthy leader in the crypto space. It wasn't some shadowy offshore entity anymore. It was a household name, endorsed by beloved celebrities like Tom Brady and Gisele Bündchen, who became brand ambassadors. This relentless pursuit of legitimacy worked wonders, calming the nerves of skeptical investors. Behind the scenes, FTX's reputation was further bolstered by its sister company, Alameda Research. Alameda was a quantitative trading firm, also founded by SBF, that was known for its aggressive and highly profitable trading strategies. The public perception was that these were two separate, successful entities. Alameda's success lent credibility to SBF's financial genius, which in turn reinforced trust in FTX. People assumed that the brilliant minds behind Alameda's profits were also ensuring the safety and security of the FTX Exchange. The narrative was that SBF was a Midas-like figure, and everything he touched turned to gold, making FTX the safest place to store your digital assets. This carefully constructed image of safety and success was the company's greatest asset. Customers flocked to the platform, depositing their life savings, their retirement funds, and their hopes for a better financial future. They believed their money was securely held in their individual accounts, segregated and untouched, just as a bank would hold your deposits. SBF himself repeatedly assured the public of this on social media and in interviews. He was the friendly, accessible genius who was democratizing finance for the little guy. This deep well of trust, built on a foundation of celebrity endorsements, savvy marketing, and a charismatic founder, was precisely what made the eventual betrayal so devastating. The story of FTX unfolds like a classic tragedy, with a spectacular rise followed by an even more spectacular fall. The timeline begins in 2019 with the founding of FTX by Sam Bankman-Fried and Gary Wang. It quickly gained traction, but the real explosion in growth started in 2021. That year, FTX raised nearly $1 billion in funding, achieving a valuation of $18 billion. It was a signal to the world that the biggest players in finance believed in SBF's vision. This was the year the FTX name became ubiquitous, with the Miami Arena deal and partnerships with major sports leagues. FTX was no longer a niche platform. It was a global brand on a seemingly unstoppable upward trajectory. The year 2022 began as FTX's victory lap. The Super Bowl ad in February marked the peak of its cultural relevance and apparent success. The company was valued at an astonishing $32 billion, and SBF was being hailed as a modern financial messiah, the JP Morgan of crypto. He played the part of a market savior, bailing out other struggling crypto firms like BlockFi and Voyager Digital as the digital asset market began to show signs of weakness. These moves were publicly framed as acts of altruism, stabilizing a volatile industry. In reality, they were desperate attempts to prop up a system that was deeply intertwined with FTX's own fragile financial health. The unraveling happened with breathtaking speed in early November 2022. It started on November 2nd, when a leaked balance sheet from Alameda Research raised serious questions. It showed that Alameda's finances were heavily propped up by FTT, a token created by FTX itself. This created a firestorm of concern. Things escalated when Binance, FTX's biggest rival, announced on November 6th that it would sell its massive holdings of FTT tokens, citing recent revelations. This triggered a bank run on FTX, as panicked customers rushed to withdraw their funds. The platform was quickly overwhelmed, and on November 8th, FTX halted all customer withdrawals, trapping billions of dollars. The final act was swift and brutal. After a potential bailout deal with Binance fell through within 24 hours, the truth became undeniable. FTX was insolvent. On November 11th, 2022, Sam Bankman-Fried resigned as CEO, and FTX, along with Alameda Research and over 130 affiliated companies, filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. The crypto wunderkind, who had been on the cover of Forbes just months earlier, was now the face of one of the largest financial frauds in history. The entire empire, built on a mountain of hype and borrowed trust, had crumbled to dust in less than 10 days, leaving a trail of financial ruin in its wake. The core of the FTX fraud was a deception of breathtaking simplicity and audacity. Customers who deposited money onto the FTX exchange believed they were placing their funds in a secure personal account. much like a digital safe deposit box. They assumed this money was theirs, segregated and protected, available for withdrawal whenever they chose. This is the fundamental promise of any financial exchange or bank. FTX, however, broke this sacred promise. In reality, customer funds were not safe. They were being funneled into a giant commingled pool of money that was secretly being used by FTX's sister company, Alameda Research, as a personal piggy bank. This was made possible through a secret backdoor in FTX's code, allegedly created by Wang at SBF's direction. This special feature gave Alameda Research an almost unlimited line of credit, allowing it to borrow funds directly from FTX's customer deposits without any of the normal checks, balances, or collateral requirements that applied to other users. Alameda could take billions of dollars from FTX customers to fund its own risky bets in the crypto market. When those bets paid off, Alameda reaped the profits. But when they failed, it was FTX's unsuspecting customers who were left holding the bag, their accounts secretly drained to cover Alameda's staggering losses. The misuse of funds was rampant and widespread. Alameda used the money for a variety of purposes that had nothing to do with customer trading. Billions were spent on high-risk venture capital investments in hundreds of different startup companies, many of which were illiquid and speculative. A significant portion of the money was used to make lavish real estate purchases in the Bahamas, including luxury penthouses and beachfront properties for FTX executives. Millions more were funneled into political donations, an attempt by SBF to curry favor with lawmakers and shape future crypto regulations in his favor. All of this was done with other people's money. This entire scheme was deliberately hidden from the public, from investors, and most importantly, from the customers whose money was being gambled away. SBF repeatedly and publicly denied that FTX was using customer funds, even as the company was collapsing. The financial statements were manipulated, and the close relationship between FTX and Alameda was intentionally obscured. The fraud was not a result of a market crash or a simple mistake. It was a conscious, multi-year deception. The company that had built its brand on trust was, in fact, operating a shadow bank, using its customers' life savings as fuel for a high-stakes casino run by its own executives. The downfall of Sam Bankman-Fried was as swift as his rise. After FTX's bankruptcy filing in November 2022, the world watched and waited. The new CEO, John Ray III, an expert in corporate restructuring who had overseen the Enron bankruptcy, described the situation at FTX as a, quote, complete failure of corporate controls and a case of embezzlement he had never seen in his long career. The hunt for SBF began, and in December 2022 he was arrested in the Bahamas at the request of US authorities. He was extradited to the United States to face a battery of criminal charges, including wire fraud, securities fraud, and money laundering. He was a boy king dethroned, trading his luxury penthouse for a jail cell. The trial, which took place in the fall of 2023, was a spectacle that captivated the financial world. The prosecution's case was built on a simple narrative: SBF had knowingly stolen billions of dollars from his customers. The star witnesses were his own former inner circle, including his close friend and FTX co-founder Wang and Caroline Ellison, the former CEO of Alameda Research, and SBF's on-again, off-again girlfriend. One by one, they took the stand and testified that SBF was the mastermind behind the entire fraud, directing them to create the secret backdoors and lie to the public. Their testimony painted a damning picture of a leader who was fully aware that he was using customer money to fund his empire. SBF's defense team tried to portray him as a brilliant but overwhelmed entrepreneur who had made mistakes but never intended to defraud anyone. They argued he was a victim of circumstance, caught in a perfect storm of a crypto market crash and poor risk management. SBF even took the stand in his own defense, a risky move that ultimately backfired. During his testimony, he appeared evasive and struggled to provide clear answers, claiming memory lapses about key events. The jury was unconvinced. In November 2023, after just a few hours of deliberation, they found him guilty on all 7 criminal counts he faced. The verdict was a decisive rejection of his narrative. The final chapter of his legal battle came in March 2024. Judge Lewis Kaplan, presiding over the sentencing, was unsparing in his assessment, noting SBF's exceptional flexibility with the truth and his remarkable lack of remorse for his crimes. Sam Bankman-Fried was sentenced to 25 years in federal prison and ordered to forfeit an incredible $11 billion. The sentence sent a powerful message to the entire crypto industry. The move fast and break things. Ethos would not be a defense for old-fashioned fraud. The boy wonder who once dreamed of saving the world was now facing decades behind bars for destroying the financial lives of hundreds of thousands of people. The collapse of FTX was not an isolated event. It was a seismic shockwave that radiated throughout the entire cryptocurrency ecosystem. When FTX halted withdrawals and declared bankruptcy, it set off a chain reaction of failures, a domino effect that brought other major companies to their knees. Firms like BlockFi and Voyager Digital, which had significant financial exposure to FTX and Alameda Research, found themselves insolvent almost overnight. These were companies that many people also trusted, and their collapse compounded the losses for ordinary investors, many of whom had funds trapped on multiple platforms at once. The market was gripped by a contagion of fear. For individual investors, the impact was devastating and deeply personal. Hundreds of thousands of people, from seasoned traders to everyday individuals who had just started investing in crypto, lost everything. Their life savings, college funds, and retirement accounts vanished in an instant, locked away in bankrupt accounts with little hope of full recovery. The stories that emerged were heartbreaking. People who had poured their entire net worth into what they believed was a safe and regulated platform were left with nothing. The dream of crypto as a path to financial freedom turned into a nightmare of financial ruin for an entire generation of investors. The broader crypto market reeled from the blow. The prices of major cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum plummeted as trust in the entire industry evaporated. The FTX scandal reinforced the worst fears of crypto skeptics, that the market was an unregulated casino, rife with fraud and manipulation. The event was often compared to the Enron scandal or Bernie Madoff's Ponzi scheme, massive frauds that shook faith in their respective financial systems. For a long time after the collapse, a dark cloud of suspicion hung over the crypto world, scaring away both institutional and retail investors and setting the industry's progress back by years. Even by 2024 and 2025, long after the initial crash, the market was still processing the trauma. While prices began to stabilize and even recover, investor behavior had fundamentally changed. A new sense of caution and skepticism prevailed. The era of blind faith in charismatic founders and hyped-up projects was over. The FTX catastrophe served as a brutal but necessary wake-up call, forcing a painful reckoning within the industry. It revealed the deep vulnerabilities in the system and underscored the catastrophic consequences when trust is broken on such a massive scale, leaving scars that would take years to heal. The spectacular implosion of FTX laid bare the glaring holes in financial regulation. One of the key reasons SBF was able to operate his fraudulent scheme for so long was that FTX was based in the Bahamas, largely outside the jurisdiction of strict United States financial rules. In the United States, regulations require financial institutions to keep customer funds separate from company funds, a practice known as segregation. They also mandate regular independent audits to verify that a company's books are accurate. FTX followed none of these rules. It was operating in a regulatory gray zone, a sort of Wild West where it could make its own rules with disastrous consequences for its customers. The collapse served as an urgent and undeniable call to action for governments and regulators around the world. Lawmakers who had previously taken a hands-off approach to crypto were suddenly forced to confront the immense risks posed to consumers. The sheer scale of the fraud affecting nearly 1 million people and involving billions of dollars made it impossible to ignore. The question was no longer if the crypto industry should be regulated, but how and how quickly. The goal became clear: to establish a framework that could prevent another FTX-style catastrophe from ever happening again. In response, regulators began moving with uncharacteristic speed. The European Union, which was already working on a comprehensive framework, finalized its markets in crypto assets, or MiCA, regulation in 2023. This landmark legislation established clear rules for crypto exchanges operating in the EU, covering areas like consumer protection, licensing requirements, and the prevention of market abuse. Similarly, the United Kingdom, the United States, and other major economies accelerated their own efforts. Proposals were put forward for stricter anti-money laundering controls, robust disclosure requirements, and clear guidelines on how customer assets must be protected, aiming to bring the crypto industry in line with traditional finance. While progress has been made, the path to comprehensive global regulation remains a work in progress. As of early 2026, many proposals are still being debated and implemented. The industry is complex and evolves rapidly, making it a moving target for slow-moving legislative bodies. However, the direction of travel is clear. The era of crypto operating in a regulatory vacuum is over. The legacy of the FTX collapse will be a new set of guardrails designed to protect consumers, foster transparency, and restore a measure of trust in the digital asset market. The Wild West is slowly but surely being tamed. If there is one central lesson to be learned from the smoking crater left by FTX, it is the age-old wisdom: trust, but verify. For years, customers and investors placed their blind faith in Sam Bankman-Fried. They trusted his charisma, his impressive resume, and the powerful brand he had built. They trusted the celebrity endorsements and the stadium naming rights. They trusted his public assurances that their money was safe. This trust, however, was tragically misplaced. The FTX saga is a brutal reminder that in the world of finance, and especially in the volatile world of crypto, a compelling story is no substitute for verifiable proof. Never take a founder's word for it. For ordinary people, the key takeaway is the critical importance of due diligence. This means looking beyond the marketing hype and asking tough questions. Where is the company headquartered? Is it subject to strong financial regulations? Are its financials audited by a reputable independent firm? A crucial red flag in the FTX case was the lack of clear, transparent financial reporting. The mantra, "not your keys, not your coins," has also gained renewed prominence. This principle suggests that the only way to be absolutely certain your crypto is safe is to store it yourself in a personal cold wallet offline, rather than leaving it on an exchange, which can be vulnerable to fraud or failure. Investors, from large venture capital firms to individual traders, also learned a painful lesson about the dangers of fear of missing out, or FOMO. Many sophisticated investors poured billions into FTX without conducting the rigorous scrutiny that would normally be required. They were swept up in the frenzy, chasing the high returns and the prestige of being associated with the hottest company in crypto. The collapse exposed this as a colossal failure of risk management. It highlighted the need to apply the same fundamental principles of investment analysis to crypto as to any other asset class. Demand transparency, understand the underlying business model, and be wary of anything that seems too good to be true. Ultimately, the FTX story underscores the desperate need for clear rules and robust transparency in the crypto market. True trust cannot be built on the personality of a single founder or on flashy advertising campaigns. It must be built on a foundation of strong regulations, independent audits, and corporate governance that holds companies accountable. For the crypto industry to mature and achieve mainstream adoption, it must move beyond its libertarian roots and embrace the structures that protect consumers and ensure a level playing field. The ashes of FTX provide a stark warning. Without these guardrails, trust is just a word, and disaster is always just around the corner, just around. In the aftermath of the November 2022 bankruptcy, the task of cleaning up the colossal mess left by SBF fell to a new management team led by John Ray III. His immediate goal was not to revive the exchange, but to embark on a painstaking forensic investigation to track down and recover as much of the missing money as possible. This process has been incredibly complex, involving sifting through chaotic financial records, untangling a web of over 130 affiliated companies, and clawing back funds from a multitude of sources including venture investments, real estate holdings, and political donations. The team has been on a global treasure hunt to salvage what they can for the victims. Remarkably, the recovery efforts have been more successful than initially feared. As of mid-2025, the bankruptcy estate had located and secured approximately $9.2 billion in assets. This recovery provides a glimmer of hope for the nearly 1 million customers and creditors who lost money. The plan is to eventually distribute these funds back to the victims, though the process is slow and fraught with legal complexities. It is a monumental administrative challenge to verify every claim and ensure a fair distribution. While customers are unlikely to get back every dollar they lost, the recovery of a substantial portion of the funds is a testament to the diligence of the new leadership team. While victims wait for the bankruptcy process to play out, the legal fallout continues for those who promoted FTX. Celebrities and influencers who used their platforms to endorse the exchange have faced class action lawsuits. While many claims were dismissed, some, like Shaquille O'Neal and Trevor Lawrence, reached settlements acknowledging their role in lending credibility to the fraudulent enterprise. These legal battles serve as a warning to public figures about the responsibilities that come with endorsing financial products. They highlight the fact that the web of accountability extends beyond the company's executives to those who helped build its trusted public image. Today, on March 2nd, 2026, the shadow of FTX still looms large over the crypto landscape. The name is synonymous with fraud, a cautionary tale whispered among investors. The FTT token, now worthless, still trades in speculative fits and starts, a ghost haunting the market. Sam Bankman-Fried is serving his 25-year sentence, his appeal pending. Caroline Ellison has been released from prison, her testimony having been crucial in securing his conviction. The road to recovery for the market and its investors is long, but the journey has begun. The industry is slowly rebuilding, armed with the hard-won lessons of transparency, regulation, and a healthy dose of skepticism, determined to build a more resilient future on the ruins of the past.